Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor, and with me is my good friend Seamus Pautz.
Hey guys, how you doing?
All right, so you guys know by now we've had a lot of fun doing doing live reactions to old episodes of Power Rangers.
Yep.
It's been kind of our thing. It's we've actually recorded a bunch of them, and as we're doing this, it is Saturday, July 21st, 2018. There have been a couple that we've done that, as of right now, we haven't posted it yet.
Right.
I'm still not sure what we're going to do with it. I don't know.
They're kind of more fun to do, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, if people are requesting it, then I'll put it out there. But otherwise, it's not really what my podcast is about.
Exactly.
I think I would have to set up like a separate show for that.
True.
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm tempted to, but I don't have that kind of time. And
Exactly.
there's way too much Power Rangers content out there.
Okay.
But yeah, again, we were, for those of you who don't know, this is partially inspired by the Ranger Danger podcast out of Australia. Matt and Michael, shout out to those guys. I did contact them, by the way.
Really?
I tried to, maybe get them on the show, but they've just got too much stuff going on. And,
Right, of course.
They couldn't make up the time, but I appreciate them getting back to me.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was also inspired by the podcast Go Bayside, in which April Richardson, a comedian, does like breakdowns of old episodes of Saved by the Bell.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this show definitely has Saved
So
by the Bell
looking at these shows with adult eyes is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
And we kind of break down all the little inconsistencies, and we give credit where credit's due as well. Like it's not all negative. We're just having a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've genuinely enjoyed aspects of these shows and everything.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm excited about this one. What we got going on today?
Okay, so this time around we are doing, we're kind of skipping ahead to a little bit later in the first season.
Okay.
As I mentioned before when we did the pilot, like that first season of this show, it ended up getting extended in the middle of the year, and
Really?
they did like 60 episodes.
That's crazy.
Because again, for a while they used to like bang them out like 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. Which is which I imagine they just shot a ton of them together.
Right, and then just edited them and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I've heard interviews from like former cast members saying that they would have just like 5 days a week. They would be in there and like 18-hour shoots and stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm kind of guessing. I don't know the exact
Jeez.
numbers, but like they would just crank them out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of easy to see in some episodes because like you'd see some like pieces of footage kind of blend together after a while.
Right, exactly.
All non-union, by the way.
Let
that sink in.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So this one is like I said, it's from the first season. It is episode 54, entitled "Trick or Treat."
Okay.
Original air date May 3rd, 1994.
Okay.
So it is probably one of my favorite episodes.
Oh wow! All right.
And a lot of it is from the villain that you're going to see is one of my favorite of the monsters. It's definitely legendary in the lore of Power Rangers, or I should maybe just infamous.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe is the right word. But this is called Trick or Treat. Now, right off the bat, you asked me before we started recording this if this was more of a Halloween episode.
Right. Exactly.
Well, it aired in May of '94, so it wouldn't. Despite the title of the episode, it doesn't really have much to do with Halloween.
Okay, then.
And so, but there are costumes involved. I don't want to give too much away.
Okay,
but,
yeah, I'm going into this completely blind, and I love it. Yeah.
Seamus, you have never seen it. So we're just gonna hit pause right away. We're gonna take a few notes, and we will be right back. Okay, so we just watched Trick or Treat, and I gotta say, like, taking notes for this show is very hard to do.
Yes,
because it moves so fast.
You have to basically just like stop it in order to catch up with what's
going on. There were a couple
on.
times when we were watching this that I had to stop and like recap just to make sure I got everything. So what'd you think about Trick or Treat?
I liked it a lot. Like, there were certain aspects of it that kind of surprised me.
Sure,
and we'll get into that. But yeah, that was interesting.
I'll bet. Again, it was tough to take notes because there's just so much to unpack here.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened in this episode.
A lot to unpack. So let's start with the opening scene. They're in the gym,
right?
The gym and juice bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I say this every time. I don't. It keeps me up at night. I don't know what the business model for the gym and juice bar
It's not great.
Kim is on the balance beam.
Yeah, there's a balance beam,
which is like right in the middle of like a hardwood floor.
Mm-hmm. That's not safe.
Yeah, no, it's totally unsafe.
Yeah, she's doing some like gymnastics tricks and everything.
But meanwhile, there's like a party tray set up nearby. It
exactly.
looks like it's complete chaos.
Yeah,
no one knows
what's going on here.
I don't know if they have just workout equipment, if they're setting up for a function later, which they might.
Yeah, you never know. There's always something going on at the gym and juice bar.
Pretty much. And, again, I don't know if it's connected to the school or what. Mm-hmm. But she's working on the balance beam. Tommy and Trini are there.
Yep. Kind of eating snacks or whatever.
Yeah, just kind of, again, they're like checking out like the spread of food that's out there for some reason.
Exactly.
It's not even from the snack bar.
We get a little bit of Kimberly gives Tommy kind of a little bit of the eye a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, she is for sure into him. Mm-hmm. It's weird. They never come... I don't think they ever like really come out and say that like they're dating.
It seemed like they were pretty like together there in that episode.
Yeah, because there was an episode. I mean, there was definitely an episode earlier in the season where like they kissed at the end, and that was a big deal.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like it's never like really implied what like how serious their relationship is.
They're just together a lot and everything.
Yeah, no, but there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah. And like Kimberly and Tommy were kind of, Tommy were kind of the focal point of this episode too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's very much a heavily Kim episode.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
So she gets off the balance beam, and she talks to to Tommy and to Trini, and she says like, "Hey, you guys are never going to guess what happened. Like I got selected to be on Trick or Treat, which Tommy of course explains like, oh my god." Isn't that the #1 game show in America right now?
What kind of alternate universe is this, man?
Which I always think it's funny whenever they have that kind of reaction. Like, if you said like, hey Jack, I just got selected to be on oh god, like
what's a good game show? I don't even know. Like I don't know.
Like I just got selected to be on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be like, wow, isn't that the most popular reality show in the country right now?
Jack.
I would just be like, oh wow, dude, you're on an American Ninja Warrior? That's awesome.
Exactly.
But of course, they got to do that to explain to people what that is.
Kids need exposition, apparently. That's
which is fine. But I always laugh at how when characters do that. That's a common TV trope. Mm-hmm. She asks Trini if she's going to be there. Trini says yeah, but Tommy says, I can't make it because I have this inner city karate match. Which, as we find out, is not in the inner city.
No, it's not.
It's right there at the freaking gym and juice bar.
Is that where they were the whole time?
Oh yeah, no, I'll get into that footage later. But yeah, so it's like he can't make it because it's like, I mean, I guess he's just so serious about competing at these tournaments.
Exactly. That like, he can't.
He has, like, he's made all these plans in advance. Like, every other week, it seems like they're in some sort of tournament.
We'll get into that, why that doesn't make any sense later, but...
Which, I mean, look, it's fine, especially if, like, we found out, hey, this is when the taping is.
Yeah.
If it's, like, short notice, he already made plans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That sort of thing happens.
Yeah. But, like...
Especially if, like, I mean, again, it's one of those things you think if it's, like, your girlfriend is going to be on a game show...
Yeah, you should be there.
You're going to be in the doghouse for not
yeah, exactly.
For not, canceling your other plans.
Yep.
So she's thinking like, I wonder who my opponent's going to be. Which makes me wonder, is this game show specifically like targeted towards high school kids?
It seems that way. It seemed like it does kind of seem
because otherwise, why would she really like wonder about who her opponent is? Or like why? Because for all she knows, it would be a complete stranger. Mm-hmm. Unless there was like some sort of casting call at their high school.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, because we have no idea how she got on this game show or anything like.
But apparently, this game show is the most popular game show in America.
Seems that way. Like
because it features high school kids.
I guess.
All right, sure. I'll go with that. Mm-hmm. So as soon as she wonders aloud, I wonder who my opponent is. Bulk and Skull come in,
Bulk and
of
Skull.
course,
Yep.
because they're constantly hanging out there, even though they claim everyone's lame. So
They like to be in social situations regardless.
For sure. Mm-hmm. It's like they hate people, but they love gatherings.
Yeah, it's great.
To quote Kevin Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they come down there, and apparently Skull reveals that he has also been selected for this game show.
How?
And is going to be Kim, which
makes less and less sense the more you think about it.
Like you can imagine, okay, maybe Kim's really smart and she's got like high scores or like high grades. Maybe that's how she. I don't know what the vetting process is.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me question the vetting on this game show.
For Trick or Treat.
Maybe it was like a random selection or something.
I guess. Like, they're just like, hey, you want to be on a show? Sure.
All right, here you go.
Yeah, that's not sketchy at all.
Exactly.
So he and of course they're always calling them geeks, but also Skull's like kind of bragging about it. He's like, yeah, what do you think about that, Kimbo? And just kind of like, just being all like.
He's being all pervy and stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like he's being like aggressively hostile to her, but also trying to impress her.
Yeah,
it's always his go-to move. It's a weird like.
It's an odd dynamic for sure.
It's a weird vibe, but he leans on this like snack table. Mm-hmm. She like smacks his hand out of the way, which inadvertently causes him to slip and take a face plant right into a bowl of green dip, which is like a perfectly timed physical gag. Which, again, I feel like if that happened for real life, like if that happened in real life, he would fall in. If you hit anything face first, whether it's like even it's like that, you're gonna break your nose or injure yourself or something.
Exactly. I mean, these guys are pretty resilient dudes, apparently.
Right.
For how much they get hurt.
Right. I mean, all it does is just create a funny gag where it's like, he's got dip all over his face.
Yeah, exactly.
And which, also unsanitary. He's totally ruined that bowl.
Yeah, seriously. Now we got to get a whole new spread out for the gym.
Right. So
the bar.
So no one seems to be mad about that. They just seem to laugh at it. And, and Kim just not knowing anything else to say. Trick or treat, guys.
Yeah.
Is that even a comeback? I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
Where was the treat? I don't know the trick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because they're both on Trick or Treat.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Again, not really a Halloween theme.
Yeah, you said it was released in May?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't think this was intended to have a Halloween theme toward it.
And it's just
this game show happens to be called Trick or Treat, and it features people in costumes, which we're going to find out in a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's Halloween all year with Trick or Treat.
Sure,
so
why not?
So we cut to Rita's moon base. Apparently, she has some plan in place where she's planted these wicked like mutated pumpkin seeds. Yeah. And Goldar suggests, hey, why don't you throw the pumpkin wrapper in there?
Yeah.
Kind of goes in line with your theme right now.
Mm-hmm. I was actually very impressed by how on the ball the guys were on the henchmen were on this point.
Yeah.
Like Rita was like, well, why haven't you already done that? Yeah. But they were like, yeah, we already planted the seeds and everything. Everything's good to go.
Right.
I was like, dude, pretty efficient. They're on the ball this time.
Right. I was waiting for her to be like, why? You guys actually did something without screwing up. Good job. Okay.
Awesome.
Like, it would be hilarious if she ever just like paused like mid. It's like, wow, okay, you know what? I don't give you guys enough credit. Really, I mean, fantastic job, guys. Really good show all around.
We'll talk about raises maybe sometime in the future.
Well, let's not get too far.
Exactly.
It's like, so you're going to give us a raise? Maybe not. Let's slow down for a second.
You did one good thing.
Yeah, let's just keep going with that, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to this game show set, which,
interesting.
Again, I don't think they were using the same set for the Gym and Juice Bar.
Yeah.
It looks like they found like another little soundstage that was on wherever their set was, wherever Saban. I'm assuming they all did this in-house. I don't know where most of Power Rangers interiors were filmed.
Right.
But it was in the studio somewhere. It wasn't a very big room.
No.
Especially for being like the most popular game show in America.
The fact that they
I mean, I guess is it based out of Angel Grove?
I would assume so. It didn't seem like they traveled very far.
No, and again, which lends a little credence to my theory that Angel Grove is somewhere in California.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking anyway.
Southern California somewhere, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Angel Grove, maybe it's like a suburb of Los Angeles,
It might be on the outskirts of L.A., we don't know. It might be in the valley somewhere. We're not sure.
Yeah, I have no idea. But
So they get in there, and the entire audience is wearing costumes.
now, how did they organize that? Like, that's interesting.
I mean, I guess that's the thing, because like you look at like The Price is Right or something,
Yeah.
and anyone could theoretically be picked for that show,
True,
right? So
true,
they probably have like, again, people probably do it as like it's a thing they do.
Yeah, it's
the
if you're
show.
fans of the show or whatever.
Again,
like,
we're led to believe this is a very popular game show, so it's just
so
it's
people
just
know what to do.
it's
and
just
everything.
understood. You go there in a costume of some sort.
All right, that's
So
fair.
okay,
Yeah, I've been saying okay a lot throughout this whole episode. When I was
so we
all
go
right,
into it,
I guess.
and they do like a Price is Right kind of thing where it's like, Kim and Skull both come out of the audience. Kim is dressed up as a princess. Skull is dressed up as like an old timey convict.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes sense. I think first time you heard his real name, Eugene Skulovich.
Eugene Skulovich. It's like Russian or like I don't know.
It's definitely Eastern European.
Exactly.
Of some sort.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, we get a little bit of Power Rangers trivia there. That's fun.
Well, also they don't say it in this one, but Bulk's real name, I don't know if is Farkas Bulkmeyer.
Farkas Bulkmeyer. Okay, those two sound like some old money rich people names. That's what it sounds
Farkas
like.
and Eugene.
Farkas and Eugene. These are some kids that are trying way too hard to be cool.
Which honestly, if you had those first names, wouldn't you rather go by Bulk and Skull too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I would.
You would think of like some other, No wonder they're so angry. I mean, they had names. They're insecure about their names.
Exactly.
It's like in Spider-Man, you have Flash Thompson, whose real name is Eugene. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is. See, you know what? Eugene is just a good way to make sure your child's going to turn into a bully. So don't name your kids Eugene.
Well, unless you just go by Gene.
Yeah, I mean,
Gene
there's
is a cool name.
Is Gene Simmons' first name actually?
This is a sidetrack. Gene Simmons was born in Israel. His real birth name was Chaim Vitz.
Oh wow, okay.
But when his mom was a Holocaust survivor.
Okay, yeah.
They moved to America when he was 8, and I think legally had his name changed to Eugene Klein.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then later got the name Simmons, and it became a whole
interesting.
thing. So,
okay,
a little interesting Kiss trivia in there. I'm a huge Kiss fan, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I figured I knew you probably knew that because the whole Eugene thing and everything.
Yeah. So little side note in there, but the host of this show is a guy named Monty Conti. Great rhyming name, right?
It's great, yeah.
Of course they love they love the rhyming names. Like I remember later, I think in the second season they appear on this like talk show, and like the name is Harvey Garvey.
Harvey Garvey.
Like so, you're sensing a theme here. It's like the double L people in Superman,
the alliterated
Lois
stuff
Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Like Peter Parker, Lois Lane.
Solid alliteration there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it's not bad. Conti, like Count, because he's like dressed up as a vampire and everything. So I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm. So the format of this show is very, very strange. The only thing I could compare it to was like there was a show called Win Ben Stein's Money. I don't know if you remember that. You might have been
I've seen.
You might have been a little young for that when that came out.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I ever actually saw it.
Where it's like the host or whatever is a contestant or something.
Okay.
But like this one is just like the contestants ask the host the question and he answers. And while he's explaining the rules of this, he does this really weird thing where he's flossing. It's just like a second where he's flossing his vampire teeth, which I guarantee you, like I feel like that was a choice on the actor's part.
This guy was getting really into it.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, I don't know whoever the actor was. We'll go over the info. He's probably some like just local like Shakespeare in the Park kind of guy.
Exactly.
Who like gets this gig on the kids' TV show and is just a day player. And goes on. It's like, well, I want to do something to make my character stand out.
I'm going to own this role.
Yeah, he wants to make it. He's making this comedic choice there.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of funny when you think about it, but it's
so
like,
great. The fact that they kept it and everything, it's just so overly cheesy. It's so much fun.
Right? It's kind of, but it's kind of like wacky, like old man humor. It's like, oh, the vampire's flossing his teeth.
And like the fact that this show is supposed to be like apparently for teenagers and everything like that, and they have this weird like count guy on there. It just got, I don't know, it just is so weird to me, but I loved it. It was just
hey, this is the most popular game show in America.
Yes, you're right.
Don't
you're
forget.
right. Sorry, I forgot my place.
Monty Conti doesn't fool around. So
he's a serious game show.
But it's weird because they can ask him like literally any question.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd concept.
Which is like maybe set some parameters on what you can ask him. It's
right.
You know, it's not like Skull at one point asked, "What's my best friend's name?" It's like, how would somebody know that if they don't know?
Mm-hmm. And you'd think Monty Conti would probably do some research on his contestants too.
Right, like yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like, is he doing background? Are they doing background checks on them?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Which, by the way, I would love to see Kimberly's background checks. It's like, strangely enough, whenever the Power Rangers show up, this girl's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and the fact. Okay, all right, let's get into that. Because okay, do we have? Let's see. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Tommy scene first.
Oh, yeah. No, they cut to a scene of Tommy walking through, I guess, the park, which is the park they always go to in every episode. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're assuming he's walking to this karate tournament he has on the same day,
right? And
he notices aloud, "Those are some weird looking pumpkins." Some rotten looking pumpkins.
Yeah,
which is,
they must have smelled bad or something because they didn't really look rotten to me.
Right, they just look like giant pumpkins. Which, I'm sure it must be a little weird, but like he's not really fazed by it. He just keeps walking by. But Rita decides to send some putties to attack him anyway.
Kind of cover your bases.
Because we got to have some cool karate scenes in which Jason David Frank can show off his.
That guy, he's got some skills, man.
The dude is an incredible athlete. Mm-hmm. I mean,
it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to see him kind of do his thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, at some point, they started playing, like, his own theme song.
Yes.
Which was really cool.
Yes. Go Green Ranger.
Uh-huh.
Which, again, like, it's like, it's no wonder that his character became, like, so popular and everything. I mean, they just hammered it home. Uh-huh. He's special. He's the special one. Yeah. He's the cool one.
He's the chosen one. Forget the other guys. He's the cool one.
I
just going to come in to save the day.
I never could stand his character.
Yeah, and, like, his acting isn't really that great either.
I mean, he goes for it.
Yeah.
He really commits hard into it. But, that's kind of par for the course with the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he gets attacked by putties and keeps fighting them, but like nothing really happens. Like it doesn't really further the plot along at all.
It's just a cool scene just to have Tommy fight some putties.
Pretty much. And while this is going on, I guess Kim is scoring all kinds of points in this game.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one point where Kim apparently she's playing it pretty fast and loose with the secret identity thing. Like, the fact that of all, you're trying to keep your identity secret. You don't want people to know that you're the Power Rangers and everything. First thing she does, what's the identity of the Power Rangers? Because
she's obviously, like, feeling clever, like, I'm going to stump him with this one, because no one knows. It's like, okay, maybe not get so cocky with it.
Yeah, exactly. If I were Monty there, I'd have just taken a guess. Yeah. I'd have just taken a wild guess and be like, maybe it's you. Like, you never know. But like, it struck me as odd that it makes sense. I guess it makes sense in a kid's show and everything, kind of winking and nod and stuff. But that part kind of threw me a little bit. I was like, maybe cool it with the whole, giving hints as to who you are and stuff.
It's like, all right, maybe play it a little closer to the vest, Kim.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe not.
Don't get too cocky.
Why tempt fate at that point?
Exactly.
So I guess she gets. The show kind of reminds me of Double Dare, where it's like they almost have like the physical challenge.
Yeah,
they gotta do that.
It reminds me of like, have you seen those Japanese game shows and everything?
Right,
like a lot of physical challenges and everything like that.
Like
they're super crazy.
Yeah,
like I could see this actually like having a trick or treat themed like Japanese game show. I can see that for sure being a thing. And
maybe they got the idea from it.
It could be
from their relationship with the Toei company with Sentai.
Yeah, that's something I thought about and everything.
Who knows? But like her thing, it doesn't really do much of anything. Like she gets attached to this spinning wheel. And she just spins around, and it doesn't really. She's not getting she's not getting like knives thrown at her or anything. But it's just something they do to intercut with that and scenes of Tommy fighting the putties.
Yeah. So yeah, that whole Wheel of Misfortune thing really didn't have anything.
Taking up a few seconds of the minute. That's really all it. That's all it did.
That's hilarious.
So then it's like Skull's turn. And of course, when Bulk and Skull get there, Bulk and me says like, remember, if you want to win, you got to cheat.
Yeah. So yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
And I guess we're led to understand that the grand prize of this is that you get a brand new car.
Yes.
And even before that, I forgot to mention, like, Bulk was like, it's like if Skull wins, we get a car. Which I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Why do you both get the car?
It's because they're a team, man.
Like, how does that even work?
I guess they'll split it. I don't know, split custody. I don't know how that would
work. Which
work.
seems crazy that like for a game show with teenagers on it that they would give out cars. I mean, yeah, I know technically you're probably old enough to drive at that point, but it's like that seems weird to like give, for a kid to win a car.
And I mean, we don't know what kind of car it is at this point in the show, but like, you'd assume it's like a super nice like, sports car or something like that.
But of course, like Bulk is a terrible friend because it'll be like, oh, we have the car. And it's like, how would that even work? Would it be in both your names? Would you split the insurance on that?
He'd probably still get stuck with the insurance. Like, Skull would probably still get stuck with the insurance.
I mean, which just lends, there's so much.
It's so many questions.
So many questions about their relationship. I feel like there is like, there's an underlying homoerotic connection.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, it's there for sure.
Yeah, there's some tension between the two.
They're always together. They're best buds.
Really, yeah. So Skull is up, and he actually scores a point because he tricks Monty, but Bulk is like helping him through. It's like, what is my best? Like, what is my best friend's scam name? And of course, Monty Conti doesn't know, so he gets the point. And so Skull has to take this physical challenge. He has to like climb this web, and he's like he's like pulling down these like
web of ropes, like
he's like climbing these ropes that's in a spider's web, and he's pulling down these fake spiders until this other like giant spider thing, for no reason I can think of, just comes up and shoots white goop in his face, which I guarantee you the producers like wanted to do that and say, hey, I bet we could get away with this.
Yeah, exactly. These guys, I mean, first of all, poor Skull, because it's like the second time he's gotten like stuff on his face in this episode.
Yeah, it's like he's constantly like slapstick, constantly getting stuff like that, getting messy.
Yeah, but like, jeez, these producers, man. They really let this stick like.
They really go to that well a lot. And so I thought it was funny how like Alpha was actually watching the show.
Yeah, I was like,
back
dude,
in the command center.
The communication orb has cable. I mean, that's great.
I mean, sure, why not?
Exactly.
I mean, it's they're able to see everything else, so I imagine they would be able to,
It's not just two-way communication and everything. They get cable. Of course, usually that orb.
That might be a network show. It's the most popular show in America. It might be on one of the major networks.
Exactly.
So they might just have rabbit ears on there. We don't know.
Sure. I mean, they get like live feeds from like across the city or however much they travel. So it would make sense that they would probably get local channels.
Yeah, that all checks out.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's the thing that makes probably the most sense in this episode.
Yeah. No, 100%. So then they get like a red alert that Rita's up to something with these pumpkin plants that Tommy spotted earlier, and they tell Tommy to kind of hang tight and be like, look, go to your tournament. It's going to be fine.
Right.
If we need you, we'll call you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I also forgot to mention Tommy's tournament is definitely in the youth center. It's definitely filmed in there.
Yeah.
It is like literally the footage they used from there was reused from the Green with Evil episode.
That's right, it was.
I imagine like it probably looked familiar.
Very familiar.
Like they had the same extras and stuff like that. But it's just like an extended version of that scene, which was like edited previously.
That's pretty smart, though.
So, yeah, I mean...
I can't really fault them for that. Like, reusing some scenes that I can't really fault them for that, especially if they're on a budget and everything. That's pretty cool. Because I didn't notice it explicitly, but yeah, it did look familiar.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes there. And again, this is happening at the Gym and Juice Bar.
Uh-huh.
Another one of the many functions that happens at this place.
That's probably what keeps them in business, is all these,
it's got to. It's,
all these events and everything.
They're just posting private events. I imagine... Maybe that's it.
I think we might have figured it out.
There you go.
The Arca is figuring out the gym and juice bar. It's taking.
I don't know. It's still a strange way to go about it, though.
Yep. One of these days we'll figure it out.
I will say that. But it's kind of like the Max at Saved by the Bell.
Uh huh.
Like you can't have school functions at a restaurant. Anyway. So anyway, they're in the audience. The rest of the Rangers are there cheering them on. They're in like, of course, multicolored outfits.
Yeah, they're all like in their specific.
They get the buzz. They get on their communicators. They're kind of signaling to Kim. They're like, "Hey, we got an emergency. We got to go now."
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because it's like right in the middle of the game show.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
So Kim pretends to faint so that the Rangers can go in there and kind of carry her off. We need to get. They don't have any paramedics on staff at this game, so no one's checking her out, but. They're totally fine with the other kids, like bringing her out.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
No one asks any questions. They're like, oh, okay.
Well, I guess that's it then. And, like, if this is a live filmed, naturally televised show, you'd think they'd probably make a bigger deal out of it.
Right, or, like, maybe cut the feed for a second there. And, like, there's no security on this show, apparently. Because they take her backstage. No one asks any questions.
Yep.
And then, Skull and, Bulk realizes that Skull essentially wins by forfeit.
Yeah. And so they get the car, apparently.
So they're super happy about that. Mm-hmm. And it just stops the show. And
very abruptly, too. Like, we don't see anything else about it until later in the episode.
They teleport to the command center. They get briefed on what's going on. Mm-hmm. So they just immediately morph. And they go into this field.
Yeah.
Now, an interesting thing I feel like I need to point out, because it cuts to the Japanese footage.
Okay.
At this point in the show, and I think I've told you about this earlier, that Power Rangers, at least the first season, they had only shot like 50 episodes.
Right.
Which is a lot, but they had only shot in a certain amount of episodes before they got ordered by the network to do more.
Right.
They had already pretty much used the Sentai footage from that season for everything. So what they did was they contacted Toei and had them shoot more Sentai footage in Japan.
Interesting. Okay.
And send that over specifically for Power Rangers.
Okay, so now we're getting into where there's like more of a partnership between the two companies a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the partnership was definitely there, but it's
that actually is kind of cool. Then it's not just they're adapting the footage; they're actually creating footage specifically for the American show.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
So they ordered a bunch of footage from that. Like, hey, just send us some more stuff and we'll work with it. Basically. So the Rangers, they go into this field. It looks very like swampy, like it's very like overgrown. They see all these pumpkin plants, and based on what we're led to believe about it, they sound dangerous.
Yeah,
like they could keep you from seeing or breathing. Like again, that's a solid plan.
Like parasitic, like pumpkin heads and everything.
Right, like that's a solid plan on Rita's part.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of her more devious ones.
Very deadly. It's very much like Poison Ivy from Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but they also learned that the pumpkin wrapper is a thing. That's what they want to avoid.
It's not the first time they said the name, but it's the first time I caught the name when I said that.
Which, again, is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show. Because pumpkin wrapper is just... It's one of the greatest villains.
While we were watching the episode, I looked over at you. I was like, pumpkin wrapper? And he's like, that's exactly what you think.
Oh, yes. Oh, just wait.
Oh, and I was...
Because it's amazing.
I was very apprehensive at that point, for sure.
So, and even at one point, like, four of the 5 Rangers, they get, like, the pumpkins, like, attaching themselves to their heads. It's a freaky looking image.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
Especially if you're a kid watching that. Like, it looks like they're suffocating and this and that. And
for sure.
And Kim ends up saving the other 4 of them. The other 4 Rangers. And you have, like, pumpkin putties appearing.
Those were pretty cool.
Which was pretty that was pretty wild looking.
Like they had, like basically, or they were putties. They had like extra, like I don't know if the putties originally had like those fins on their hands or anything like that.
Some of them
did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they had just the giant pumpkins on their heads, and they were pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty, not bad as far as the Japanese effects go.
Exactly.
Like it's definitely not too bad. Mm-hmm. But they keep fighting them, and they keep fighting the putties. But they notice that there's a bigger pumpkin in the distance. So they go, oh, that must be the pumpkin wrappers thing. That must be where he emerges from. Mm-hmm. So their plan is they walk right up to it, and they want to wake him up. Which, why would...
Yeah.
That makes no sense. You have him in a vulnerable position. Why not destroy the thing that is going to create this big monster?
Like, the whole thing is to prevent the thing from waking up, because when he wakes up, he's the most dangerous.
But, of course, they wake him up by, like, a multi-part rap song that they do. I guess they're just freestyling.
Great. Yeah. That was too great. We don't even know... like, they don't mention that you need to rap to wake him up or anything. I guess they maybe just took it from his name or something like that.
Sure.
I just laughed at that scene. That was pretty great.
So the pumpkin wrapper wakes up, and it's...
this guy.
Oh, it's the best.
This freaking guy.
Because it always cuts into, like, a funky beat as he goes. It's like, ooh, you Rangers make me mad.
It was so good. It was, like, just that typical 90s hip-hop, like, sound and everything. It was hilarious. I loved it.
It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. It really is. And, yeah, so they get in a fight with the pumpkin wrapper, and he definitely has them on the ropes.
He takes them down, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely on the ropes.
Yep.
He's beating him pretty bad. So Tommy is just about to start, his end of the competition. It looks like he's doing forms or katas, and he gets beeped, and so he's pretty upset about that.
Yeah, exactly. I would be too, honestly.
He's like, hey, can't you just maybe wait 2 minutes? I gotta go finish this thing.
I'll be over there in just a minute.
Right. But, he realizes it must be serious, so he backs out, and he morphs into action to help them. And, of course, he immediately, comes... in pro wrestling, they do this thing in tag team wrestling where it's like you get the one guy who's getting beaten down and whips the crowd into a frenzy. That way... when he makes the tag, what they call the hot tag, then the other good guy immediately comes in and just cleans house.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's what happens here.
Hot tag.
Tommy gets the hot tag.
All right, gotcha. That's awesome.
I kind of compare it to that.
Exactly.
He comes in and just completely rushes the monster.
That was a cool scene. Like,
frees the other Rangers and just rushes them in. He just rushes toward the monster, starts fighting them hand to hand. And distracts them while the other 5 form the Power Blaster. Yeah,
the Power Blaster makes a comeback. Like, this thing, that's probably one of my favorite things that they have. Like, if I were a kid, I didn't watch the Power Rangers growing up, but if I were a kid and I watched that show, I would want that Power Blaster, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, that thing looks super cool.
I don't remember if that was, like, an actual toy they made with all the separate ones.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, it should have been.
Exactly.
Like, that would have been cool if, like, you collected all five weapons, you could form that. That would have been smart business.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't remember if they did that or not, but
I just know myself. Yeah,
it was kind of cool that, like, I mean, normally Tommy comes in and he gets all the attention and all the glory, but this one, it wasn't like him just single-handedly taking down the monster.
Yeah, he just kind of lended a helping hand, and the other Power Rangers kind of took care of it.
Provided a distraction, and so it's good teamwork.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
He wasn't hot-shotting it at that point. Which, he definitely had a habit of doing regularly.
He's becoming a more integrated part of the team, which is good.
For sure. So they don't have to, call up the Megazords or anything, which I'm fine with. I prefer like the ground-based battles.
Yeah, those are a lot more fun anyway for a lot of reasons.
So, and Tommy has this really funny line, which is it's very of the time. Hasta la pumpkin, squash brain. I love that line so much.
It's too great.
It's 94. It's right after Terminator 2. So
oh yeah, so that's right. It's very timely.
Yeah, it's still topical. It's still relevant. So they do that. Rita's pissed naturally, and that ends.
It's pretty.
That's end of Act 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So we come up to the last scene. It's right outside the youth center, right in the parking lot, where Tommy and Kim are walking out, and they're like, it's a shame you didn't get to finish your tournament. He's like, there'll always be There will always be other ones.
That's a pretty good attitude to have.
Which is a great, especially because, like, I imagine to enter tournaments like that, you got to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, those generally aren't free to get into. Like,
true.
So
probably again one of the many reasons that
I guess maybe his parents were paying for that or whatever, but still,
his parents were probably pissed. They're like, "Tommy, what are you doing?" But
it's like, what the hell, son? You're going to these things every week.
Keep dropping out right when it's your turn.
Like, we get it. You've got a hobby, and that's good. I mean, look, that's a good thing. We support you and what you're doing, but come on, you can't be running off.
These things cost money, man.
If you do something, son, you got to stick with it.
Exactly. Don't be a quitter, Tommy.
Right? Don't be a flake. No one likes that. It's
exactly.
Good life lessons. Of course, they don't know he's Power Ranger.
Yeah.
So Bulk and Skull pull up in this like convertible. Looks like a Mustang convertible. I'm not really sure what car it is, but of course Bulk is driving this car that's technically Skull's that he won.
Yep.
They're still in costume for some reason.
Yeah, they never changed. Like, was this like a day later or like?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I think it must have been like that same day.
Yeah. And then.
So all of this takes place in the span of a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
And it's still light out, so like, yeah, it was just a few hours basically.
Yeah. So
it's nuts.
So they pull up and Skull is it's like that TLC song, no scrubs, hanging out in the passenger side of your best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. That's exactly what he's doing.
Exactly, like, check out my ride. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, and then he's tries to start hitting on Kimberly again.
When you have this woman who says she's from Standards and Practices, from the network comes up, she
out of nowhere. Yeah,
she walks up and she's like, it's like, hey, we just checked over the footage. You guys were cheating. We're taking the car back. Which, by the way, she shows up with zero credentials.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not like cops with her or anything. Just to make sure, she just shows up.
She had a business suit on, so that's what made her. That was her authority, I guess.
And I'm like, well, were they actually cheating?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, he just kind of lip synced questions. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he was just like, ask him.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that's a lifeline.
Exactly. Like
I don't know. Like, I don't know where that is in the rules of Trick or Treat.
Yeah. It's very unclear how this game works. But
like, I guess they don't award the car to Kim. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were gonna do too.
Which that would have been nice, but I mean, I don't know. I guess they just have these new cars they're giving away. So.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna, I didn't mind that they didn't give the new car to Kim, but it was just kind of fun. They just took it away from Bulk and Skull just for no reason. Or whatever. But like,
again, they barely put up a fight. They just get out of the car, and so the lady, gets in the car, drives it away, but the front door gets caught on Bulk's outfit. Now because he's dressed up as a mummy.
Yeah, exactly.
So the car drives away, and he just like is spinning around, do a completely cartoon pratfall unraveling, which like if that happened. Like, he would have been dragged by the car and would have been killed.
Exactly. Like,
he would have been, at minimum, seriously injured.
Exactly. Like, some serious road
There would
rash.
have been bones broken.
Mm-hmm. It was just...
Possibly death.
Yeah, luckily, like, it just unraveled and he was able to spin around. And if it had caught his leg or anything like that, he'd have been done. Like, seriously.
You are dead. Mm-hmm. Because she, like, tears out of that parking lot.
She sped off. She was excited about that.
Right.
But, and then, like, he falls on top of Skull.
Yeah, which I don't know why Skull fell down, too. That was, like, he just fell down for no apparent reason.
They're an item, I guess. And, they do everything together, I suppose.
I guess so. Skull's just a clumsy guy, and that's hilarious to Tommy and Kim. And, of course, Kim has the same comeback as earlier, trick or treat, guys, and then freeze frame credits. So there you go.
Pretty interesting episode, to be honest. Pretty solid.
Again, it's for the pumpkin wrapper alone that makes it one of my favorites.
Exactly. That's what made it stand out for sure. The pumpkin wrapper was pretty great. I love that.
So,
but yeah, that was a good one, man.
Yeah, that was. I mean, again, pretty typical like later episode season of theirs, which you had the non Sentai footage.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. That's not the last episode of the season, is it? That's like
no. because the original, what was supposed to be their season finale was like a 2-parter, and which you thought, like, if they ended the season there, that would have made sense. But this was after that. This was just the extra episodes. So it's like they don't really have a season finale. Like I think the season, like the original air dates, I think it went all the way like into mid-June.
Oh
probably.
Wow. Okay. Man. That's a lot of episodes, man. That's ridiculous.
I'm telling you, man, they could crank them out like crazy. Mm-hmm. So there you go. So that's Trick or Treat for you.
It was great, man.
Cool, man.
Always is an awesome time doing this, man.
Seamus, sure. where can they find you online?
Well, you can follow me on like Twitter and Instagram at Celtic Kraut, Celtic_Kraut. I believe it's Celtic Kraut 75 on Instagram, on Twitter, Celtic_Kraut on Instagram. And yeah, just follow me there. Ask me some nerdy questions and everything, and do whatever. I don't really have anything in the immediate future that I'm working on yet, but I will let you know.
You could also go listen to Seamus's podcast, The Silmaridiots.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple episodes. Yeah, we still have a couple episodes up. Something me and my brother did for a little while, and yeah, it was a fun time. Like we basically kind of come at the works of J.R.R. Tolkien from kind of a blue-collar perspective.
For sure.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings or anything Tolkien, you'll want to check that out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep liking and subscribing, go and listen to the other episodes. You can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/JackConnorMusic, on Twitter at JackXConnor. I'm also on Instagram at JackXConnor. Check out my band, Vertebraker. I'm singing a rock band. Facebook.com/VertebrakerBand, and just keep liking, leave a comment, leave a request about anything you want to do, whether anything you'd like us to talk about, whether it's Power Ranger related or otherwise. Any requests for us about particular episodes, maybe we'd be happy to do that, or any like movies or TV shows you want us to do.
Definitely.
Just keep tuning in, and thanks for hanging out with us. For Seamus Pautz, I'm Jack Connor. This has been the Phoenix Report. We'll catch you later.